Today, being an expert is not enough. In
Yeah.
order to lead in 2025 and beyond, you need to become a thought leader. With that, we are healing silence generations.
Yeah.
We are challenging the society to validate new ways of how someone can live a life. We are
Mm.
there for we are the voices for those who don't have a voice. If you always
Yeah.
think that this is about you, your judgment, your fear, your rejection, you are keeping people from receiving. What am I doing? Every time why I'm doing this, I
Mm.
started declining promotions. I
Mm.
didn't see the point of getting a little bit more money to
Mm.
for responsibilities I couldn't care for.
If someone sits on really valuable information and they feel that urge to yeah make it public, what would be like the first thing they can do? In this episode, I speak with Ivana Ivanek. Ivana is a keynote speaker, business strategist, mindset coach, and host of the Online Business by Design podcast. She helps teachers, coaches, and educators create profitable online businesses that align with their dreams and make a lasting impact. In her early 20s, Ivana pursued business and economics while working in corporate, but left her studies to launch her first business. When that venture didn't succeed, she returned to corporate, gaining 6 years of valuable experience before relaunching as a mindset and business strategist. Coming from a background where entrepreneurship wasn't an option, Ivana turned challenges into opportunities, learning that failure is the key to success. Today, she empowers others to overcome limitations, unlock their potential, and build businesses that create the success and life they desire. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do so. It will help us get more interesting guests, more interesting topics, and just grow the channel where we can reach more people that can see the important messages and the stories of our amazing guests. Thank you and enjoy the episode. Welcome in the Awake Insights, Ivana.
Thank you for having me, Hank. I've been waiting for so long for this, and I had to pinch myself this morning, thinking like, is this really my life? Is this really my job that I get to connect worldwide with incredible people and co-create to inspire and empower? I couldn't be happier to be here today.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you. Yeah, you talk and your work is a lot around mindset. It's something that we haven't stepped into very deeply, I think, in previous podcasts. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation to see how you, yeah, teach mindset, how you make people more conscious about how mindset works and how that can work for them. But you hear quite often to become successful that it's 80% mindset and 20% strategies and tactics and things like that. Is that something that you agree with? And we talk about entrepreneurship and business. Um, can you say that, yeah, if everyone would have the right mindset, that everyone can become successful and create a business?
I do agree. And I want to emphasize everyone.
Mm-hmm.
There is a limiting thought that we always have. Humanity has it, and we have it because we get our path paved forward by society, people, our caretakers, family, people who have done things. And if we only see that one particular way and we are thrilled to go that one particular way, this is what we take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see other stories happening. Like in my life, I have been seeing opportunities everywhere, but not happening in my world. Like I wanted to be Beyonce. In school, when I was questioning why I needed to learn about the amoeba virus and what it does to the human body and how it spreads, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody could explain to me how Beyonce formed her band Destiny's Child being only 9 years old, I was devastated. And I couldn't place it as a child. I was just having questions that nobody could answer, not at home, not in school. And I was just waved off with go play, don't bother with this, do your homework, do this, do that. And I
Yeah.
grew up with that mindset that I'm just gonna take what is there for me, what I
Yeah.
was told and taught to do.
Yeah.
However, seeing all these opportunities around you, you'll be like, okay, what is missing in my life to make this possible?
Mm-hmm.
And this has required an incredible big mindset shift,
Yeah.
but not only within me, but also how I see society and everything around me. And what makes people successful in the long run, because I was successful shortly and I failed. And
Yeah.
what makes people successful in the long run is the continuous embodiment of shift after shift.
Mm-hmm.
And this is often what is overlooked because sometimes you think, oh, I got it once. No, I'm going to now, disappoint many people and say, like, it's constant work
Yeah.
forever and ever. But it's also something incredibly amazing, something incredibly empowering if you get to points where you thought you will never get to.
No, exactly. Yeah. It's something that we really have to learn and also to learn to accept. I think that life will never get really easy. If you want to go for your dreams, if you want to chase your dreams, then it really works in cycles. And that's, I think, part of the mindset. To have that in your mindset, to be aware of it. If you want to achieve something, that's it can be really hard, it can be really tough, but afterwards you will get rewards out of that. And sometimes I think, our surroundings and our education or whatever you can call it, so what our parents teach us is that, you have to do something to make you successful, and then you can just live comfortable the rest of your whole life. You don't have to bother about nothing anymore, assuming that you're going to be happy as well. But in a lot of cases, that's not what it is, because you're actually following their path instead of your own. So I'm very curious for how you experienced that in your life. At what age did you start to ask yourself really those questions? Because I can imagine if you were looking at Beyonce and the success that she had, I can reflect it to myself too. You see all these artists on the television, you see all these famous people, but you think like, who am I to think that that I can be someone like those people?
Mhm.
I'm then also from a kind of a smaller country, not from the United States, because there are more opportunities, of course. So nothing came up in my mind or comes up in my mind that at that time to, okay, maybe I can aspire something like that as well. So how was that for you in your childhood, and how did you experience that?
What I have experienced mainly, like when I started asking myself the first questions, why? This is what children usually do. I was waved off. So I stopped doing that eventually and I went really internal. I was dreaming my whole world internally. I was never sharing anything because I just get to hear things like, good luck with that. Yeah, try. You see, you're going to fail. And I had to learn eventually to understand that there is something so much deeper behind this. As an immigrant, my family immigrated in 1991 from Serbia, just shortly before the Yugoslavia war, to Vienna, to Austria. And my parents just worked their behind off to create stability for me and my siblings.
Mm,
So they wanted us to go to school. They wanted us to grow up safe. They wanted everything for their children to have a proper life, as you say, to work for something and then finally be peaceful at some point. And then this is
yeah,
usually, when we look at the bigger picture of society, it's pension, right?
yeah.
You work hard till you accumulated enough money so
Hmm.
you can finally rest. And I was questioning this. I was questioning because I went to study and work at the same time because I wanted to make money. And
Mm,
that job allowed me to travel. I wanted to travel. So I was finding my ways how to just escape that one town.
yeah.
And I wanted to study because my parents said, we allowed you, we made it possible for you to study.
Mm,
So for me, I thought there is no other way other than doing that. And all these things that have been told to me that I can't, that this is not for me, that entrepreneurship isn't for me, businesses are not for us, nobody in our family has made it,
mm,
was parents that were worried see their daughter fail. No
yeah.
parent wants to see their children fail, to get hurt,
Mm,
to be disappointed. And they did not have the tools to
yeah.
protect me or to teach me differently. Plus, they had very so occupied. There was no time in our lives for empowerment and to
Mm.
empower dreams. And mine were huge. Like I just
Yeah.
carried them, like a little tiny gift that I was carrying within me, not telling anyone because I was only
Mm.
disappointed, and understanding that they have done their best for me to set
Yeah.
me up for success. I had to realize this was not my success. I was
Yeah.
getting up in the morning, going to work, being like, what am I doing? Why I'm doing this? I
Mm.
started declining promotions. I
Mm.
didn't see the point of getting a little bit more money
Mm.
to for responsibilities I couldn't care for. And I
Exactly.
was judged. And
Yeah.
at some point, I was afraid to be judged. So I stopped talking about it. I was just, keeping this internal world to myself and asking myself, is this your life?
Yeah.
In my biggest dreams, I was walking down the street in a blue trench coat, holding a paper bag of takeaway sushi. And it was not about the trench coat, not about the
Hmm.
sushi, but the purpose, that
Yeah.
contentment. I was walking down the street, I can see until now. And the
Hmm.
paper bag
Hmm.
of sushi was a sign of wealth. So that was
Yeah.
me dreaming, right? Wanting to do different. I had the feeling that I have something within me, a gift that I couldn't really place because nobody asked me. And I thought I'm the biggest weirdo and I'm just such a strange kid and such a strange young person. And I was suffering a lot from this
Yeah.
till I said,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? I'm just going to look out for those opportunities.
Hmm.
If nobody tells me how, I'm going to find out.
I hope you're enjoying this conversation so far. As you probably have noticed, the Awake Insights podcast is more than just a place for great conversations. It's part of something bigger, the True Impact Club. The True Impact Club is a supportive community for anyone who feels called to share an important message or story and wants to reach a bigger audience. Whether you're looking to step onto stages, get featured on podcasts, or simply amplify your voice, the True Impact Club is here to help. They don't only support you in preparing for these opportunities, but also ensure you have a seamless follow-up system in place. That way, when people are inspired by your message, you can connect with them, build meaningful relationships, and even turn those connections into clients. If this resonates with you, or you want to find ways to make a bigger impact, you can find free resources on the website you can find here below. Thank you very much, and let's go back to the conversation. What did you see as opportunities at that moment?
At that point, it was traveling the world beyond the 5 weeks of vacation that you get in a corporate job,
Yeah.
living by the ocean, because this was a huge desire where I was taught if you live by the ocean, you can't have a proper job, which is kind of true because it's
Mm.
usually low economy countries. Being famous, that I thought famous is the thing to be as a young girl. However, the famous today I translate into doing meaningful work,
Mhm.
being known for something that I deliver to the world and spread my voice and my message around the
Yeah.
globe because I know it
Mm.
can inspire so many more. And I wanted to do meaningful work. Meaningful work. Today I can say I want to do meaningful work and not having to put on proper pants before 12 p.m.
Yeah.
unless I'm on a conversation like this. And this was something that people declared me as crazy, as this is impossible. Like you gotta
Yeah.
work, you gotta do this and that. And I just went and said, like, I'm gonna see if these opportunities are out there for me.
Yeah. 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 In a lot of cases, it involves risk, to look for your own purpose, to look for your own opportunities. And yeah, the parents that support you, they're looking for safety for yourself, so they are risk averse. And I think there's the big conflict because they're living out of fear of failure, the fear that you're not gonna make it and they cannot be proud of you because you're not making it. But yeah, you always exclude, or in most cases you exclude, the real happiness that someone can have
Mhm.
by discovering themselves, discovering their own skills and their talents, and what they really aspire in life. So why, and for you actually at some point that was entrepreneurship. So you tried entrepreneurship a few times before you're still an entrepreneur, before you became successful. Can you explain a bit how you discovered entrepreneurship, and how was that for you to just try that for the first time? You said you stopped your studies because you really felt that calling to become independent, become an entrepreneur. Was that for the freedom that you just explained, living on the ocean, being free, for released from that 9 to 5 mentality and all this kind of things, or was it also to make more money? Or you said yourself that it's might be also to become more meaningful and do something, with a purpose. So can you explain a bit, when did you discover entrepreneurship and how?
How I discovered it, I just saw that not everybody goes to an office every morning. That was
Mm,
my inspiration. You have to imagine it's a young 20-year-old girl who doesn't have a mentor. She doesn't know nothing. Okay, we started here. And then the story involves I found I was always a sports person. I was always competitive in sports. I always had a huge knowledge around it because this was the center point of my life was health.
yeah,
So I found a university where I could do a diploma within 1.5 years, while I could already develop my venture and work and do traineeships, etc. And I thought, I'm gonna do this. And this was the first decision I have made from my internal world, ready to fail if.
mm,
And I went to this school, I did everything I was supposed to be doing. There were just so many things that I have missed out on, which was, talking to people who know. I was always talking to my family about the things that went wrong, about the things that didn't work so well. And everything I heard is, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so.
yeah,
So for me, doing what I was doing in my first year, 4 years of business as a mindset and health coach was proving that I can. I was proving to my family that I can do something different, which is certainly the wrong intention because it involves so much energy that you waste improving, right? Improving that
yeah,
I can succeed, improving that I can do money, afraid to make money, actually, right? I was asking for a personal training lesson. Hold on, everybody who's listening, $39. So you can't
yeah,
imagine that there was literally no money that I was building up over the time. I was depleting my savings. I had to take a debt for my education. And I hit rock bottom financially, physically, and mentally because all I did was proving not making enough money,
yeah,
and asking for help was a sign of weakness.
mm,
This was my
yeah,
first discovery. And I had to quit. It was not my own choice. It was my body telling me, Ivana, we don't go any further, up to a point where I couldn't leave the house anymore. That the
mm,
job itself that I was delivering to clients and being purposeful and happy, that was
yeah,
not enough at that point to keep me going.
mm,
And then I stopped, and everyone around me was happy. I said, oh my God, I'm so glad you stopped. I'm glad you're going to a normal job. And I was just sitting there being happy and one hand that the nightmare ended because it was difficult. But I was also sitting there being like, but don't you see that just all my dreams shattered?
yeah,
Everything I wished for was gone. And I
mm,
wasn't even imagining that this business potentially could get me to the ocean, could get me
yeah,
where I wanted to be because I was just obsessed with proving myself, right? So I went back to corporate and had to establish that I was living my worst case scenario.
yeah,
And then I had to move from there. And the moment I had said, I'm going to do it again, I'm ready to fail again, I discovered something that has really brought me so much quicker to where I wanted to be.
yeah,
When we don't speak enough about the F word, as you said, failure
mm.
is something that our society doesn't want to
That
hear about,
effort.
right? The F word, the bad F
There,
word.
there are more
No,
effort. There are more efforts than that. But yeah, yeah, I understand.
when I'm speaking about that one,
Yeah,
failure. What if you fail?
mm,
What if people see you failing? What are they going to think about us if you don't perform accordingly to society's expectations?
yeah,
And there is something I learned because I was personally never afraid to fail. Plus, I knew that Beyonce has failed for 7 years straight before she became successful. And that
yeah,
was my North Star. I know that people who are famous are failing their path forward.
yeah,
And I was just discovering for myself my worst case scenario that I was living like already already there and going to corporate, having to pay back debt, having to pay, pay back for all the mistakes I have made because I didn't ask for help.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, I was asking myself, okay, you're going to start a business again. What if you fail? Me, myself, and I, you just said, well, nothing. You
Mm.
can fail. That's okay. The next question that occurs, like, but what are they going to think about you? What are people going to think about you? I'm like, well, they already have their opinions, so I probably will be okay, just as I am now. Nothing will probably change, nothing major. What about the financial? If you level down financially, like in corporate, I was earning money and now all I have is debt and I'm trying to quit my job again. Like,
Yeah.
what are people going to tell me? And there I discovered, like, who is talking to me here? Are these my questions? Who is talking to me? Who is asking myself to be wealthy? Who is setting the standards?
Yeah.
And I discovered it's my parents talking through me.
Yeah. 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 The voices
You
in the
have
head.
to do it a certain way. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna do it again. And what if you okay now, Ivana, what if you really fail? Cool, you go back to corporate world. Is this your
Mm.
ideal outcome? No, but I can do that. And being out there is a danger to this because being out of corporate world for a long time, eventually you won't get a job anymore. Like at this
Mm.
point, people will not hire me for the amount of money that I could for the results that I could deliver because I would be labeled as too innovative. Because there is a reason why I'm this free bird and not doing what I'm doing. So I said, okay, you might having to go back to work in a supermarket.
Yeah.
Can you do that? And I said, yes, I honor every single person who contributes to our society, to put up everything in the shelf so I have an easier time
Yeah.
grabbing it. I can be that person for a year while I'm preparing for my comeback.
Yeah.
Okay, you will not have the money probably, enough money like earning in a supermarket. You will have to downsize, downgrade many things. Are you
Hmm.
ready for this? And I said, okay, nails and stuff I don't do anyways. I can skip fine dining for a bit of time. I can live with the minimum. And then my brain goes, Ivana, but that means vegetables and rice. And
Yeah.
I would be like, cool, I like veggies and rice.
Just a quick note. I want to share something that might be valuable for those who are looking to grow their brand or their business. The True Impact Agency is a digital marketing team that supports you in building everything from marketing funnels, landing pages, to ad campaigns and custom websites. Their focus is equipping you with the right strategies and systems to elevate your business and presence. If that sounds interesting, visit True Impact Agency to learn more and book a free consultation call. It's a great opportunity to clarify your goals and take meaningful steps forward. And let's go back to the conversation.
But like really no sauce to it. I'm like, yes, I'm okay with that. And as I have established this for myself and shut out the external noise of how much I have to earn, how much I have to work for my success, and what I have to do that is considered successful,
Mm.
everything has changed. I am ready to fail and I'm failing my path forward every single day. And I wake up saying that tomorrow I'm going to make better mistakes.
Yeah.
And
Did,
this
did
was a
you
game
set
changer.
did you set a time for yourself? If you say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna reduce my spend, I'm gonna cut on costs and all this kind of thing. Did you set a time for yourself? Did you say, okay, yeah, like within 1 year or within 2 years, I want to be, yeah, just back on that level. I want to earn money and just feel
Mhm.
comfortable.
Mhm. I have done that. What I have discovered there, however, is that is actually visual thinking, especially when it comes to numbers of money.
Hmm.
I did move countries in between. I moved to the Caribbean. I used to live in Greece already a couple of years. And every time you move country, every time you add on other happenings to your life, they will
Hmm.
take you back a little small step, big steps in your pursuit.
Mm.
So I did set those goals, but I realized after 2 years that I am actually chasing something that
Mm.
is not worth chasing, which is numbers.
Yeah.
I was chasing numbers And there was a wake up call again, being like, "Hun, this is exactly what you were doing the years before. That's not about it. You need to set a
Mm,
different intention."
mm,
And once I set a different intention of doing meaningful work creates change, inspire
yeah,
others, empower others, and to give to the world what I have learned in the most meaningful and purposeful way,
yeah,
things have changed financially too.
yeah, yeah. So your main motivation, as you explained, was money. That was your driver,
Hmm.
right? So and then you had to
Hmm.
change that because you felt, okay, yeah, this is not going to work this way because yeah, I have these certain money goals in my mind, but I'm not getting there. I'm doing something wrong. And then you decided, okay, yeah, I have to reflect on that. I have to change my mindset around that and find another purpose, another goal. So and then you did that. So how was that for you then, and what exactly was the purpose? Because I'm also curious why you per se wanted to be an entrepreneur. I think it was
Hmm.
for the freedom and all this kind of things, but there are probably also other ways to do that. And yeah, what kind of business did you want to build? And because if you focus on money, you're going to think about, okay, yeah, this type of business is going to make me the most money. This is going to be the less money, and you're not really thinking about how I'm going to help someone. What is the real
Hmm.
problem in the market? What is a good solution that I have, and how can I really help someone, or how can I make more money? So how did that work in your mind?
I mean, I had to do my data work and research work, obviously, as well. And I know that I'm in an industry where money is to be made. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not that I'm not aiming for it, but there is something, a drive, an internal drive that has the calling for entrepreneurship, if you want to call it as such, was to create a life around my work that is truly what I want in every aspect of life. So now it might sound so dreamy and being like, again, you don't want to put on proper pants before 12 p.m. But if this is something someone's desire, your desire, you can create literally around that.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was clear because we travel and move so much around and we want to be around. And I don't know when I will be in the position to take 3 months off just because I
Mm,
want to travel. But in this case, I just can grab my laptop, make sure I can align the time zones, go down with work, and I have a vacation. Like we traveled in 2023 through Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam. I moved to the Caribbean with my partner because he has discovered another option for him and to level up his career. So I have started building around the life I want to truly live.
yeah.
That for most of the people who hear this, like society, and who do the corporate life, buy the house, buy the car, get married, have kids, who climb that structure or the ladder that is paved for them, that path, sounds like literally impossible, but I did see the possibilities because the moment I had one thought and I took one action, the house started literally unfolding and right in front of me. And the only thing I needed is courage to take the next step. And you take the second step, and step three unfolds in front of you. And you take step four, and you see step five. And after you took step five, you see step six. And this is how it continues. So, money alone
Yeah.
wouldn't have gotten me there because money alone doesn't make you curious, nor does it make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
And my intention since I am a girl was philanthropy. I always wanted to give back. So
Yeah.
the money thought of wanting to make a lot of money was again a thought that was not deeply mine. That was how you need to do things, how should things should be going. So I
Mm-hmm.
just switched
Mm-hmm.
that intention and started creating what I really wanted to create, which is a life where I get up every freaking morning and be like, yes, this is it. With all its obstacles and hurdles, because I don't want to sugarcoat it, because life keeps happening. Also, if you live your highest purpose, but I get up in the morning and be like, yes, I've got nothing that I
Mm.
would like to change today,
Yeah.
and this is something that I consider the famous that I wanted to be back then,
Yeah.
because this
Yeah.
is famous was success. Today's success has shifted drastically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it mean that you, in a big part, you did it for the lifestyle? That you wanted to have a certain lifestyle?
Yes. The
Yeah.
lifestyle. the freedom, the living my creativity, not
Mm,
being captured by a contract of what I can do,
mm.
but just go and do things that I think are good.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And how long did it take you to, because I can imagine when you envision a certain kind of lifestyle around entrepreneurship, being in different exotic destinations and so on, how long did it take you actually to feel like I made it? I this is actually what I have envisioned.
Mhm. Okay. How long did it take me? Perhaps a year.
That's very quick,
But the,
actually.
I mean, I've come, that 1 year was all the work I have put together, every single failure I've been through from the
Yeah,
past 10 years. There was
yeah,
lots of mentorship and lots of psychologists involved into this rise. So
yeah,
that wasn't alone. I can't take those credits.
yeah.
But the thing is what is I made it? I
Mm.
don't think I've made it. And I don't want to make it because there is
Okay.
so much more beyond that. I don't think that I will ever say I made it because this is where I take away the responsibility, my responsibility to share my gift with the world.
Hmm.
And it's a
Yeah.
privilege to do so.
It depends on what you mean with "I've made it." It's a perception thing.
Mhm.
It can sound like I've made it, like, okay, yeah, I'm in a situation and I don't want anything else anymore. So this is what I achieved my goals. While I understand that the way you explain it is like it's a never-ending story. We're on a journey, and it keeps evolving. But I can imagine that you can, at a certain moment, you can say, okay, yeah, this is actually what I always wanted. I feel happy. I feel good with what I'm doing. Of course, I want to grow, still grow. I want to make progress and all kind of things. So in that sense, you can already say like, I've made it, in a way, like I
Mhm.
have the lifestyle that
Mhm.
I really envisioned and that I really want. But after 1 year, and of course, you explained it like everything that went before that, but after a year it's pretty fast. Like I did a post this week about that, like, yeah, don't don't focus too much on the laptop lifestyle. That is actually something that you will have immediately if you decide to step into entrepreneurship. But the reality is, you're starting a business, and starting a business is not easy. It's not that you're going to be on the beach with your laptop every day for working for hours. It's something that can take a lot of time. Once you have created your business in a way that it's automated fully or halfway automated, like you built your systems and all kind of things, at some point you can say, okay, now I can maybe work 2-3 hours a day, and the rest of the day I'm free and I can do all the things that I want. But mostly it doesn't happen after 1 year. So that's why I asked the question. I was curious about that, how that went for you. But yeah, if you work on that like 10 years in advance, at a certain point, with all the knowledge and the experiences and the failures and the mentorship, that you can get there after 1 year for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about potential. I'm very curious about your opinion around that. So, and I was reflecting on that also this week. Like, yeah, how does society look at human potential? But let's first start like individually. So we all are human beings, so we all have a certain kind of potential. And I strongly believe that we need to take the time actually to discover our full potential and what it is and what are we capable of doing. So maybe tell me from your experience and maybe some practical tools as well, like how can we as human beings discover our full potential, and together with that actually live and live our purpose, what we're really here for, what we really want to do, and how we really want to serve and become the person that we want to be.
Mhm. I can say that everybody has a potential, every human being, and I see it everywhere I go. Since 10 years, I'm having conversations, and I know how to ask the question to get out of the people what I want to hear. And if I ask someone what their dreams are and what they really want from life, it's 99% the opposite of what they are doing. If I follow up with the question of, but why not? Because I am, I see the flames coming up, the sparkles everywhere, stars and glitter, and be like, but why not? Let's do it. Because this is
Mm,
something that I truly see in everyone. And then it comes, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if this is for me. But this is again the external noise because you were told and taught to believe that you cannot. And this
mm,
is generational. This is
mm,
not just your parents, but your parents were taught by their parents what is possible. And then it continues over the generation. So to break that eventually, the first question I would ask everyone, what is it that you want? And I want you to get specific.
yeah.
I'm going to just give a wide example that everybody can relate to. Someone says, I would like to travel the world. Well, this can sound daunting, especially if you want to travel it alone, especially if you want to leave behind your house, perhaps for a year, your family, depending on the circumstances.
Hmm.
And if people would say, like, why would you do that? Why would you take the sabbatical? Why would you leave a job? Why? And you will just become smaller and smaller and smaller with every thought and every time you share.
Yeah.
In fact, if you said, I want to travel South America within the next 12 months,
Mm,
you already, the next thought is, okay, where should I start? Okay, I want to see Venezuela, Peru, Argentina, and you name the countries. And okay, where is it the best to start? Cool, I need a ticket. Okay, how
mm,
do I get the ticket? I go on the internet. Awesome, I have the ticket. I need accommodation. Where do I want to live? Who
mhm.
do I want to meet on my travel? This will define my location. You look for the location. You look for your arrival date. Why I'm going on this travel? Do I want to see beaches? Do I want to learn scuba diving? Do I want to learn kite surfing? Do I want to meet new people? Do I want to build my business? This will determine where you go
Yeah.
and what you do and your next steps. So get specific on what you want. And the
Mm,
reason why so many people don't do it is because the moment you get specific, you make a commitment to yourself.
yeah.
But the paradox here is in order to succeed, you need to make a commitment. So
Yeah.
there's no way out of stating what you want
Mm,
and then see what comes from there. And often people say, yeah, I want, and then they immediately tell themselves why they can't. So the second part, you just need to shut down for a bit and let those opportunities come into your life
yeah.
because words set things in motion.
Yeah. Exactly. And then I think, yeah, a lot of people they don't really know what they want, so it can take some
Mhm.
time actually to answer all these kind of questions.
Absolutely.
And on the
Yeah.
other hand, sometimes people know what they want, but then they have these limiting beliefs that they can't do that. And it's not
Mhm.
only the external thing, like I want to have this or I want to go there, or but also sometimes it's like your ability, your skills, your confidence, your yeah, this the imposter syndrome, a lot of things that are inside of you that are kind of make you hesitant and make you just not taking action. And these are real mind blocks. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm curious how you work with that, with those internal mind blocks.
Mhm. They do exist and they are real because, again, it's something we learned. And if you look for evidence that you cannot do something, you will most likely find it.
Mm,
If you
it's
look for
focus, right?
evidence that you can do something, you need to do it.
Mm,
And here's the thing, we often tell ourselves, I don't know if I can do it, whether I'm made for this, whether I should be doing it. There's always a risk factor to it, right?
yeah.
But there is one thing we need to understand. These fears or these limiting beliefs come from thinking that we need to succeed tomorrow the moment we commit.
Hmm.
Now, as a strategist, and how we build up businesses and look at gaps that we need to fill, you can look at gaps in life.
Hmm.
That can be, that is always time and knowledge. These are the biggest gaps, usually, that keep us from pursuing our dreams.
Hmm.
So instead of saying, I cannot do something, get curious how you can learn.
Mm.
I don't know how to connect with new communities because I haven't done it since I am a child. I'm out of kindergarten since more than 30 years and I don't know how to connect with people. Get a
Yeah.
coach, try, and trust that you can learn because most of us have been through school, university, have learned how to drive a bike, a car,
Yeah.
learn how to swim. So you can trust that you can close that knowledge gap by
Mm.
learning if you miss a skill or
Yeah.
anything else in order to pursue your dream.
Yeah.
So instead of saying, no, I don't know how to do that, get
Mm.
curious and be like, what do I need to get there?
Mm.
I have A, B, C, D, E, F is missing. How do I get that? And this will ultimately determine your time, how long you will need. And
Yeah.
therefore, I dare to say that everything is achievable. It just needs to be absolutely tailored to your current resources. And with that,
Mm.
I mean knowledge, skill sets, time, and everything you bring now to the table, and on what you need to expand and how quickly you take action in order to get there. That's it. It's so simple.
Yeah.
But we think that we have to know it all. Nobody wants to look silly. Nobody wants to look like a beginner. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not going to
Exactly.
share this because my audio is not so good, my video is not so good. Maybe I booked the wrong ticket, or I
Yeah.
go into the wrong community. Well, it's about it. It's about
Mm.
making the mistakes if you have to. It's about the
Yeah.
discovery. It's about being graceful with yourself, being proud of yourself for taking those steps. And every time you make a mistake, you shake it off, and you're gonna make a better mistake tomorrow.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that. It's sometimes quite confronting to learn something new and then actually show it to someone else to, yeah, to know that it's something you need to grow in. You're not an expert in this. I also I, I have that idea that when you're younger it's easier. When you're older it's somewhat more difficult. You get judged a little bit more actually because you had so many years to learn all this kind of different things and skills and whatever. And look at you, you look like a beginner, right? But it's because you learned something new. It's something that you haven't done before. It's a new skill. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, really. So I'm doing something I've never done before, and then you're acting a little bit like a beginner, like a child or something. So yeah, it's a matter of accepting that, and yeah,
Also,
don't
knowing
bother
the
about
fact
what.
that if you don't start learning, if you
Yeah.
never develop the readiness of making mistakes, you
Mm.
will never get better at it. That's
No.
just
Yeah.
a
Exactly.
given.
Yeah.
So when we speak about entrepreneurship and especially in the digital world, the biggest fear people have is to be seen. It's
Hmm.
not about you having the wrong colors on your caption, not knowing how
Mm.
CapCut works. It's not about not knowing how to put your, camera on your face. It's about the fear of being seen,
Yeah.
saying something that people might not hear, saying something you thinking that is wrong because often we think like there are so many studies that give us knowledge and that give proof, scientific proof of things. And every time you rephrase them because it comes from your internal world, from your experience, you think somewhat that evidence is somewhat wrong
Yeah.
and you don't dare to say. And then we gather all these notebooks of ideas and reels and statements and quotes and God knows. And 2 years later, you have gathered two full journals of ideas, but you still haven't shared your thought with the world.
Mm. Exactly.
And it's about that. It's about taking the action. Once you know what direction you're heading, make the first step. See what
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. But I am from that generation actually where we didn't had all this media and all these ways of exposing ourselves. Um, and there are many, yeah, like friends and people I know that still having difficulties with that, just to show themselves. And some
Mhm.
people don't have to do that, right? They just have their life, more the traditional way of living, like we already explained before. So they don't have to share a lot of things about themselves, or maybe just with some friends in their circles. But today we see how important it actually is to share a voice that shares really important things, important experiences, learnings, truth tellers. This is becomes so important because like there is a big shift happening like with the media. Mainstream media is not covering everything anymore. They control all the information that is available. So we need more voices that share the information that our everyone, that our society really needs. I work now more and more with people that want to step into their leadership. So these are people that have an important message, an important story, and that they want to share, but they are afraid of sharing it, or they don't have the skills or the knowledge to share it. And but it becomes so important. And I think also here it's that mindset that's plays into this to, yeah, take that step, take that camera, film yourself, say something meaningful, say the truth, whatever you think, share your opinion into this world, and from there, yeah, change is really possible. So there's really a big opportunity.
There is a huge opportunity today, and I just want to add to this what you are saying, that so many are
Mm,
afraid to share their thought. Looking at the world today, at the digital world, at the crowdedness, what does society do? We complain. We like complaining. It's too crowded, markets are saturated, it's this and that. But the thing is, nobody looks at the opportunity being like, okay, how can I stand out? And I can guarantee you today, being an expert is not enough. In
yeah,
order to lead in 2025 and beyond, you need to become a thought leader.
yeah,
But if you don't share your thought, you can't be a thought leader.
yeah,
So there is one thing that, first of all, having the gift and the privilege to be able to share something, to have a voice, is something that we need to acknowledge and cherish, because not everybody has it.
yeah,
And as you say today, it is important to do it and not to hold back.
mm,
And you are like, most of us are not even aware of what can happen if we do so.
yeah,
When I started sharing my voice and I started sharing my story and my message and empowering people, especially those who chose to work with me and to chose to take me on their journey to support them,
mm,
obviously, we've seen huge changes. We've seen
yeah,
shift. I've seen people quitting their job after 9 months working with me. That
mm,
was incredible.
mm,
But if I then was looking at my surrounding, at not necessarily entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, coaches, teachers, or educators, but just everyone around me
yeah,
who was observing my action over the last decade, they have discovered opportunities for themselves. Can give
mm-hmm,
you two amazing, incredible examples. My mom, nothing was ever for her either.
mm,
Success, money, house. I grew up in a dysfunctional family, so she was responsible for everything, and nothing was for us.
mm,
My mom today is building her own family house on the property of her mother that she inherited. And
yeah,
we are going to have next year, Christmas 2026, as a family in our own house. We are all shareholders.
mm-hmm,
And this just happened. I didn't have to coach or talk to anyone. I had to make my actions and my message visible, make people believe that if I can, you can too.
yeah,
When I said that I want to be Beyonce and famous, I was told not to be silly and go to my room.
yeah,
I have a niece of 10 years old. She loves cats and she wants to save every single cat wherever we go. She's saving those animals. She feeds them. She gives them love. She gives them water. We need to bring them to the vet if some a street cat is injured. So it's a hustle. But she
mm-hmm,
said she wants to become famous on YouTube so she can build houses. She calls it houses for all the animals in need.
mm,
And you know what my mom says today? Cool, go your auntie Evie when you are 18. You can ask there for help because I'm sure you can do this. That's just two very close examples from my family where possibilities and opportunities suddenly appeared because I was living it. I didn't try to change them because, as we know, we can't change people. It's
no,
our actions that need to be visible every single day. If you want to live a purposeful life,
yeah,
discover your purpose and live it. Because with that, we are healing silence generations.
yeah,
We are challenging the society to validate new ways of how someone can live a life. We are
mm,
there for, we are the voices for those who don't have a voice.
yeah,
And this goes so much beyond making money,
yeah,
being famous or successful. It's big.
mm, yeah, definitely, definitely, yeah. Yeah, and there's so much opportunity now. We can just share how we think about life, how we think about the world. And yeah, it's just a matter of doing it, taking action and sharing it with the world. So is there a way that you can say, okay, let's take it step by step? Becoming a public speaker, going in a podcast, whatever is maybe for some people a stretch. So if someone sits on really valuable information and they feel that urge to yeah make it public, what would be like the first thing they can do?
The first thing you can do, know what you want, where you want to go with your story. What is your story and where do you want to go? And if you want it or not, I think often people miss out on the fact that they need to do the you need to do the internal work.
Mm,
Every time we share something from a place of a wound,
yeah,
we will not be able to reach the people, because this way you will always hurt someone. This way you will always find the wrong words. Every time you have to prove yourself, you will find
yeah,
the wrong words. Whereas, well, we share from our scars when we have healed our experiences, healed the traumas and everything that has happened to us. Like, I have forgiven my parents for
yeah,
everything. They couldn't do better. They have done their best, and I see that. And they
yeah,
are doing it until today. But I had to do something different. I have
mm,
forgiven. I don't blame anyone for my failure. I
mm,
don't blame the mentors I have paid who have guided me in wrong direction because they didn't listen. That's all okay,
yeah,
because I took the responsibility for my choices. And I think in every decision we make, there's always a consequence.
mm,
If you make the wrong decision, there will be a consequence.
mm,
But also, the right decision will have consequences. And the only thing to start is to know that you are okay with either consequence.
yeah,
And if you feel that urge, that you have a message to share, talk to people who have done it. Ask how to if you don't know how. If
mm-hmm,
you need support, ask for help. This is
mm,
not a shame. This is something that will just get you quicker to where you want to be.
yeah,
No one has done it ever alone. So that's why we're sitting here together, and I'm not talking alone to the screen, nor are you. So there is something internal that if we carry that huge gift,
mm,
build your community, build that village that supports you,
mm,
and then have faith that everything is gonna be all right. Everything will turn out the way you want it if you do the work.
yeah. Yeah, I think the community part is super important. Like find some supporters, some people that are kind of in the same situation as you are, that you can relate to the topic that you want to share or that is so important in your life, because that's gonna encourage you to really share those stories and those messages. So yeah, I think it's really interesting learnings that you share here for that. Um, Also, the fact that you start talking about the wounds and the scars, I think, yeah, that's an important, like, how would I call it? Like an important, can be an important event in your life, actually, where you discover I have certain things I have to heal in my life. There are always behaviors that come up that make me not happy, that feels that I'm not living my full potential. I'm not doing the things that I really want to do in my life. And once you step off, you take that journey, then that's actually, then you're gonna face those wounds in many ways. And then you're gonna realize that there's a lot of things that I need to heal before I can really become that person that I really want to be.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, and that's for a lot of people quite unexpected sometimes.
Yeah, it's a clash. You just wake up one day and said, "I actually wanted to have a business, but I actually have now to do inner work." And I like to say, you know what? Starting your own business, no matter how big, small, or what module it is,
Yeah,
can be a podcast. I think podcast is a quite a big thing, right? You
it's a good thing.
are making this decision. You are entering your biggest self development journey you will ever be on. And it's
Mm,
something That is so incredibly important, especially as personal brands where you have to be ready to be seen, to make
Yeah.
mistakes publicly, etc. So this is something truly undeniable. But then,
Mm,
then it becomes also very important where we put our energy to. Like when
mm,
I'd go home, Christmas, birthdays, and in the beginning, especially the second time, because the first time I failed, everybody saw I was failing. And it's like, oh my God, she's doing it again. This crazy
mm,
woman. Is this really my daughter? I needed to learn that I need to preserve my energy. And I can't go there talking to them as they would know what a failed launch is or what a podcast is. My mom loves to listen to this. She's like, but what are you doing there? I'm like, it's
mm,
fine. Listen to it or not, put in the translation if you don't understand. It's okay. And I just realized at some point that if I go there and explain, and people ask me, how is business going? Like my very favorite question. How is business going, Ivana? Like, what do you want to know? How I feel? How my
yeah.
clients are doing? Do you want to see my numbers on spreadsheets? You've got to be specific if you talk to me like this.
Mm,
So I always try to answer to these questions back in the days, but now I'll be like, you know what? It's fine. How are you doing? I'm doing
yeah.
amazing. And if someone now would say, yeah, but that's a lie and you are denying an answer, I would say yes and no. But what it is for me is taking responsibility.
Mm,
It's a higher level of taking responsibility of not hurting someone who cannot understand. And it's a huge responsibility towards me to preserve my energy and to talk to people who do understand and take all that energy and to serve humanity.
mm,
My sister sits there next to me and gives me the wing and be like, hi, you liar, you've been crying yesterday, you talked to me, right? And I said, yes, but this is something mama doesn't have to know. It will
mm,
just hurt her, she will never understand, and my actions will show.
mm,
So preserving that energy and you know being able to step up on a very, very high level requires self development. You
mm,
gotta look at
definitely.
those wounds. Like I
Yeah.
can't be sad that my mom doesn't understand. If I go down the downward spiral, I will never get to where I want to be. I
Mm,
wouldn't have been here today.
mm, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it reflects in the choices that you make, of course, because yeah, you choose actually also to have a business that is around mindset, business strategy. But yeah, you probably also talk a lot about personal growth and how people evolve, because that's quite related to mindset in a certain kind of way. But you could also just choose to do something completely different, you know?
I could probably do a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like I'm a
I
very like I know how to do things. I'm very curious. I know
mm,
by now that I can learn anything I want. I just need to see if it's reasonable in a certain
mm,
time and if I want to make that effort. So, but I did choose to do mindset and business strategy. It was a huge learning over the 10 years. But I also can tell you that strategy is something we find in books,
yeah.
on Google. Social media is full of it. The
Hmm.
only reason why people don't trust strategy, or even why in my courses talking about strategy, is perhaps if I work with someone for 8 months, we talk a third strategy.
Yeah.
The rest is how to put it in practice,
Yeah.
how to get over that hurdle, why I can't be in front of camera, why do I feel silly, why I'm afraid of this, why I'm afraid of that, why this doesn't work, and data, learning how to look at data. This is also
Mm,
a big denial thing. So
true.
um, yeah, we there is a big learning to it.
Mm. Yeah. But the taking action part, that's super important. I think it also, yeah, what comes up is that that tendency to be perfect and only do the things when they are you think that they are really good. I struggle that with that for a long time too, and still sometimes I'm asking like, why am I not just be happy with what there is right now? Where you just have to, make some steps forward, right? Yeah, that's something that we need to learn as well. That's part of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is one of it. Yeah, it's gratitude practice because we all have achieved something in our lives, and there
Mm,
is. I think it's a good thing to strive forward and have this drive to go and continue to better, become better, because I think it's something that we human have in our DNA. We just have become freaking lazy with everything we got around us. Like we don't have to go outside anymore to meet our friends. We have WhatsApp. We don't have to go for groceries anymore because it will be delivered in front of our food set. And we just become like something that humanity is not become to be. We are meant to move. We are meant to move forward. We are
Hmm.
meant to wander around the globe because this is what our people have done. And we shouldn't also forget in this fast-paced world where we are only judged by what we have achieved, because no one
Yeah,
cares what you do. They will judge you on how well you do it.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. This is Irving Goffman in his book, the old sociologist, has written this. So it doesn't matter if you're the mother, the father, the brother, the manager, the business owner, whoever you are, it doesn't matter. That nobody cares. They care how well you do it and you make sure you do
Yeah.
well. And in this fast-paced society with this thought, we really need to go internal and be like, I have done that. I'm doing with my people monthly success stacks. No matter how small, even if that means that you got up in the morning after a sleepless night because your children didn't sleep,
Hmm.
you've
Hmm.
made it.
Hmm.
You have overcome something that told you stay in bed. And we make those success tags and we put gratitude on it and be grateful for showing up every single day, no matter how hard it is, how small it is, or how big it is.
Yeah.
This changes a lot.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, that's a very important practice, certainly.
Hmm.
Another thing you said also kept it playing in my mind is actually the fact that people only listen to your story when you can share the success that you had or how successful you are right now. But if you're in the middle of the struggle, nobody's listening to you. Nobody's interested in your story, actually, right? And that's sometimes the moment when you need the most support. When you want to have feedback from people, like, okay, can you help me with something, or you know. That's yeah, very striking to me that yeah, we as human beings are like that.
The validation, you mean?
Yeah, the
Or
validation.
advice? Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that, no, that people just only listen to your story when you have a success. Like if you write a book or something, or if you give a speech, whatever, you come there because you made a success. You're like a seven-figure entrepreneur, whatever. But yeah, 5 years ago, I was struggling. I was broke. I was living on the street, like, and people. It's that success from broke to a seven-figure entrepreneur. But if you're not that seven-figure entrepreneur and you made it from broke to I make I don't know, like a few thousands a month, nobody is listening to you, actually, because you're just like someone random. Well, you can have that aspiration to really become that successful entrepreneur, and now we are focusing on the numbers, but there are of course many things to to determine if you're successful. But yeah, that's just what it is. That's just how, yeah, society
It,
works, I guess.
it's something we need to take in and accept at some point. And as I
Yeah.
said, validation is one thing. I mean, I don't ask for validation anymore. I just propose things. And if I get some sort of feedback, I know that I'm asking the right people for feedback. I don't go to my family to ask for business advice or
No, of
feedback.
course not.
Like,
No. Yeah.
why would you do that? Oh my goodness. But the thing is, we will be looking for this validation. And it's a question, where are we going to? What questions are we asking? And most of the people don't want to hear the struggle. What I have experienced over the last
Yeah.
decade
Mm.
is because they feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
An average person cannot deal with the discomfort of you not doing good,
Hmm.
because all they are asked for is to listen, to hold
Yeah.
space for you, to be the person that says, like, Henk, I don't understand nothing of what you are doing, only
Yeah.
half of the thing you are telling me, but I'm so proud of you. Let me give you a hug if this is what you want.
Hmm.
But most of the people can't do that. They try to, either they try to help or to give you advice that is they're not asked for, and then
Yeah.
it gets awkward. And that's
Yeah.
why so many people refuse on that. Nobody wants to listen to your not success stories and be
Yeah.
like, call me again when you made your seven figures.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
is where I decided that these are not people who are going to sit with me on the round table and celebrate. I have made
Hmm.
this decision very early. Like, you gotta be with me or not, but
Yeah.
it's a choice. So it's discomfort mostly that people
Yeah.
cannot deal with. Like,
No,
he's
yeah,
not doing well, Hank. Oh my God, what I'm gonna do now with him? Like, I need to have an advice ready. I need to help him. No, you don't need to do nothing.
yeah,
Hold space for those who want to spit out their soul, who came to trust you with their deepest failures. As we
yeah,
spoke about it, it's not hard. It's hard to share that. It's not
yeah.
easy to be like, made a mistake. I lost
No,
social media. Nobody does that,
exactly.
right?
It is. No, it is. But it should be quite yeah, valuable if you could have that. But I understand what you say. Like people just don't want to be confronted with themselves in a way. If they
Mhm.
experience you having a problem or some
Mhm.
struggle, then immediately you reflect it to yourself, and a lot of people just want to stay away from that. It can be with a lot of things. It can be, yeah, with some wounds that you have, some other issues in your life. People just want to have this. They want to have positive people around them, and of course, everybody wants to have positive people around them. But sometimes, yeah, we need to also be able to see the other side and support each other in the other side. And so many people run away from that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's just reality. But it is a matter of surrounding yourself with the right people. It's not everybody. So, luckily,
And to accept it, and that's totally fine. Like,
yeah, yeah,
how boring would it be if it would be all the same? How boring would
yeah.
it
That's
be?
totally
Because,
true.
yeah, the majority just runs that same path, which I declared for myself as boring. So did you, and we just do different things. And I'm sure there will be the other person thinking the same and being like, look at those two, like, I want to do the same, and they will follow. And everybody who doesn't, it's okay. We can still choose our circles. Like, I have friends where I can sit with them. We certainly don't talk business because I'm putting a mirror in front of everyone, showing
Yeah,
them that they are not living their full potential. They like to
mm,
stay safe. They like to, so that's why I don't do it. But we have other conversations. We
yeah,
talk holidays, we talk fashion, we talk, things that really connect us on a deeper level so we can have meaningful conversations, right?
yeah,
But we don't have to pick up business. With my family, I talk something completely different.
mm,
But with my business friends and with my
yeah,
peers, we
yeah,
dive deep into things, right? So it's also like I think with growing up, what I learned is also that you don't have one best friend that covers
mm,
everything
mm,
and everywhere at any time, but you need to have those little villages that
yeah,
take you along where you are at, and you go and look for that energy that you get from each person or each community you involved yourself with.
yeah.
That's the network we need for
It's true.
success as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. And I also had to learn that over the last 10 years, I would say,
Hmm.
because if I reflect back at my younger years, then yeah, I had mostly this kind of friends that you actually all the time you hook up with and you share all kinds of things. But at some point, it's kind of limited. It's quite superficial because yeah, at that time I didn't had a business and I was not facing my struggles and I was not healing my stuff and all these kind of things. So you just talk about pleasant stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, over the years you start to yeah be curious and discover so many other parts of life, and then you have to realize that yeah, not everybody is open to that, and you cannot talk with everybody about this certain kind of topic. So you really have to yeah move between different communities, different kind of
Hmm.
people. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's kind of an experience, and I'm sure not everybody does it or not everybody experiences that, but that's part of having that growth mindset.
Yeah, I was taught like if you have a good friend, hold on to it. So that meant I can never have a
Mm,
discussion with my best friend. We can never
yeah,
have a fight. We always have to please one another. And this has turned out to be quite wrong many years ago because she didn't understand me. I was afraid to say what I want to say. And then we start pleasing each other and actually not having those meaningful conversations anymore. If I
yeah,
would have thought that you need to go to the people who can teach you what you need to know, or where you can have some fun time, some going out, some sharing, things you have in common. Oh my
mm,
God, the world would have been so different, and I wouldn't be running away from people who actually wanted to connect with me but I thought I'm not doing my friends justice if I have
yeah.
another friend, right?
Yeah,
So there's like so much we get wrong, and the only
true.
way to learn is to discover it and to walk the path and to see what's out there and be like, oh,
Yeah,
cool, there is something else out there, and I'm sure I'm gonna go and discover so many other things that I don't know today.
yeah, and just accept that things are the way they are, and not trying to change it or anything, because yeah, it just is what it is.
It
You
is
can
what it
only
is.
be yourself and be the example, I think, if you want things in a different way. But in a lot of cases, just accepting the things the way they are. So yeah, amazing. Before we end this episode, I always ask if there is something that we haven't talked about during this show.
Mm. During the
uh,
show.
this
Don't
show,
say
yeah.
podcast. It's a
No,
show.
exactly. Yeah, we talked about that before, right? That's why I'm saying it's
I think you
that.
should be taking this as a running gag to the rest of your show because I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah. So
What we haven't
to
said.
yeah, yeah, some topic
I
we
think
haven't
we
talked
dove
about,
pretty
or
much
something
deep.
you want to share in general. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we pretty much dove deep into the why we can't do what we want to do and how what we can do in order to get there, and that possibilities are out there for everyone. I just want to put out there specifically for someone who is looking to share their message with the world. If you want to step into, or you are in the starting somewhere to become an entrepreneur, digital entrepreneur, as a teacher and educator coach in the transformational industry, and this fear of judgment is bugging you, I want to let you know the following. If you have a gift to share with the world, it's your privilege to do so. It is also your responsibility. And this is no longer about you.
Mm,
You are in service of humanity with what you can bring to the table. I know it sounds so big, but if you always think that this is about you, your judgment, your fear, your rejection, you are keeping people from receiving your gift.
mm,
Every time you want to share something and you think it's not good enough, think about the person who needs to hear it. Every time you need to say something and you think it's too big, just make sure that as many as people as possible get it in onto their phones, onto their screens, because this is what they seek. And I guarantee you, 2025 and beyond, humanity is seeking conscious leaders. This is
definitely.
not about you.
Definitely. Yeah. So beautiful. Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's important, and it feels almost like you're destined, that that you're destined to share your message. Actually, if you feel that that's something you need to do, you feel that urge, then you have to do it. It's gonna never be the case that everybody's gonna do it. So if you can do it, if you feel that you have that potential, if you have those stories from your own experience, you just have to share it, because so many people gonna benefit from it.
That will need it. And it's a thing, you're meant for this. Like nobody wakes ever up and says, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur because I'm bored.
Mm,
Entrepreneurship is hard, and you didn't come here to have it easy. So
no, exactly.
it's real. It's yours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, this is a good one to close this. Thank you very much, Ivana. It was a really interesting conversation. I really enjoyed it. I think we talked about a lot of very interesting topics, and I hope the audience can take a lot of takeaways out of that. So yeah, I appreciate your time. Thank you for doing this, and yeah, I wish you continued success with everything you do and all the people that you are going to impact in the future. So yeah, thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity and I appreciate this conversation with you, Hank. It has been a pleasure to co create. Thank you.